I'm Christopher Titus, and this is the Armageddon Debate Update. Did you see?
Freedom, freedom, I can't move. Freedom, cut me loose.
Did you see the craziest debate we've ever seen, where one side acted like a leader and one side, I don't know what I saw. I mean, at one point he said babies are being aborted in the 7th, 8th, 9th months, even after birth.
In the 8th month, 9th month, 7th month, they have abortion in the 9th month. Execution after birth.
Babies are being aborted after birth? You know, I just hate that he stole my material.
Texas had late-term abortions for a long time. They just called it the death penalty. Isn't that just a really, really late-term abortion? Texas been running 20 to 80-year-old fetuses through old lightning on a conveyor belt, man. Texas is killing people in the 73rd trimester.
That being said, immigrants are also eating people's pets.
They're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets.
Hold on, guys, stop, time out. Hi, sorry. Hi. I told you what not to say. One of the things you weren't supposed to say is anything about people eating dogs, because it didn't happen. I know Laura Loomer is talking to you, but you gotta stop being so stupid. We talked about this! Christy Nobe shot a dog in the face, ended her everything. So you're gonna shut up now, okay? You're gonna answer the question again, and you're gonna do it right. Jesus. Okay, go ahead, guys.
If that were the case, I know these people. There would be a cart where you could buy a Chihuahua chimichanga or a bulldog burrito with a side of Frenchie fries. He also said that Nancy Pelosi didn't stop January 6th. You know, President Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House. She could have overrode the president. Dude, you call in the National Guard when the Capitol's being attacked. You get people vaccinated. You negotiate with governments, not the Taliban terrorists that want to fucking destroy the government. What did we watch?
They're eating the cats.
How about we fact check this up? He said Biden could sign a bill to shut down the border. Fact check. Trump stopped the bill to shut down the border. He said he lost the election because they wouldn't hear the case. Fact check. They heard 60 plus cases and had no evidence presented to the court. None! The recount by his own cyber ninja crew found more votes for Biden. And here is Kamala's response.
Donald Trump was fired by 81 million people. So let's be clear about that. And clearly he is having a very difficult time processing that.
And here is a video x-ray of Trump's soul during her response. Here is how much Trump hates solar.
They'll go back to destroying our country and back to windmills, and we'll go back to solar, where they need a whole desert to get some energy to come out. You ever see a solar plant?
And here, in the same sentence, is how much Trump likes solar.
By the way, I'm a big fan of solar.
After Kamala called him out for being a laughingstock on the world stage, he said,
Viktor Orban, he said the most respected, most feared person is Donald Trump.
Viktor Orban is the dictator from Hungary.
I have traveled the world as Vice President of the United States, and world leaders are laughing at Donald Trump. I have talked with military leaders, some of whom work with you, and they say you're a disgrace.
Orban has rigged Hungary's election system. He's gone after gays. He's shut down the press. And this dude is Trump's job reference? It's kind of like Chris Brown using Will Smith to get a job as an anger management counselor. They asked Trump what his health care plan would be to fix the ACA, and he said,
I have concepts of a plan, and you'll be hearing about it in the not-too-distant future.
Sorry, guys, sorry to be back. Sorry, gotta call it one more time. Listen, concepts of a plan? Is that what you just said to the whole world? So you had how many years to figure it out? Plus, you've got Project 2025. At least it's something. And you just said, I have a concept of a plan. Listen, man, we've been waiting 2 weeks for 8 years. Sorry. I know you're paying me. Of course, I haven't been paid yet. Just do me a favor. Just say, we have a plan in the works, and it's amazing. And then shut up. Okay, guys, go ahead. Thank you.
Concept of a plan? Hey. Maybe you could go further, Donald, and come up with, I don't know, maybe, how about an inkling of a projection of a possibility of an idea that, if implemented in a timeline you are considering, could invent a draft of a perfect plan that we have a shadow of a definite possibility of constructing.
They're eating the dogs.
In the debate, Trump lied 33 times, Harris once. But one person said the same batshit crazy lies he has spewed for 9 years now, but had nothing for us. No plan, no idea. Concepts of ideas, of course, but no real plans.
We'll be reporting back sometime over the next 2 weeks.
Over the next 2 weeks.
It's in about 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks. Over the next 2 weeks. I have concepts of a plan, and you'll be hearing about it in the not too distant future.
Because he really hasn't had time to come up with any plans, because still don't know what I watched with this psycho. We live in America. I mean, it's better now. I know that because there's food in the stores. My retirement has doubled and we are producing more oil than any time in history. It's better because of these two. And they didn't step into a job where everything was going great and they could just take the hand off from a competent leader. They stepped into a job where 5,000 people a day were dying. We were stacking dead grandmas and grandpas like cordwood in refrigerator trucks. We all sat back and watched seditionists attack our nation's capital, sent by their treasonous leader, a man who over 150 historians voted as the worst president in the history of America. But he's a white man, so of course he's still polling even with the accomplished, multi-times elected, smart, competent black woman. Do you get it yet? Fuck.
The government and Donald Trump certainly should not be telling a woman what to do with her body.
I'm Christopher Titus, and this is the Armageddon Update. How the hell is he still polling even? It's impossible. Really? Oh, because he's a white dude. White dudes get away with anything. And being a white dude, I know that. You know what I've never done? Been yanked out of my car and shot randomly. But you know what else? I cannot believe that this idiot's still polling even. I do. I know.
And then,
I figured out. I figured out. But it doesn't matter. The dogs eat. Yeah. And with a little bit of stuff.
They have heritage chicken broth.
Right.
Okay.
That's what I put.
Yep.
Hi, guys. Christopher Titus Podcast. With me, as always, Lovely Bombshell Ray.
What's up, people?
And the Highlander.
Wow.
There could be only one.
And I was just thinking
a
about all
little
the food.
anticipation
Like it's
there.
so weird about how she keeps proving that I don't love the dogs by.
Oh.
I'll start feeding them.
No. I think you love them, but I would be concerned about you having them for an extended period of time
They wouldn't.
alone.
No, they like it.
Because you're going to eat the dogs. Is that what
You're
do?
gonna basically grab your dog. We heard that comedians.
What the fuck?
Comedians are eating dogs all the time. Like what? It was.
That was insane.
I at one point that's what I said in the Armageddon. Like, what were we watching? At one point, it's
Kamala
like,
looked at him with sheer fear, pity.
it was all over
Holy
there.
shit!
All of
She
that.
laughed.
Is
Yeah.
this happening?
At one point, you know when you're at something and you're like concerned about something crazy happening, and then you just start laughing. There was one point she
Yes.
started laughing, like, "What the fuck is going?" Like she was all of America last night. We just went, "What the fuck?"
Wasn't
Like,
it the dog part?
there was a couple parts where she just looked at him like this. Like there was
She's like,
there was
again,
a concern.
here's my plan for the future: $6,000 child tax credit, first time home buyers, healthcare,
Small businesses.
Then because I'm a middle class child, blah, blah, and then it goes to him. It's gonna be World War III, David. He kept calling David,
Screaming it.
and David was like, World War III. He screamed twice. It
But
was
also, at least this time, like when Biden was on, I thought Dana Bash and Jake Tapper did the shittiest job I've ever seen in it, and I thought these guys did a better job. Although we did watch it, I watched it twice to write the Armageddon Update. I did notice that it's Trump. There's something about Trump's personality. He gets away with everything. He's learned. He has the confidence of a psychopath where he continues. Doesn't matter if you say stop. They tried. Stop.
Yep.
No, I'm going to answer this right now. I'm going to do this. And he just keeps going. And eventually they have to stop because there's nothing to do. Now, what they should have flicked his mic and said, dude, we're going to turn your mic. But then again, it looks bad, right?
And the rules were they couldn't turn the mics off, but you could hear every time they were trying to move on to something, every time 201, he would start talking and it would be very quiet. And then they would crank up his mic volume. So they were never off, but they could have just left him quiet. But instead, both moderators would go silent and let him run through the time they were going to be asking a question. And then when she did it at the end and she goes, no, he has said two things that I need to respond to. And the woman actually talked over her and said, no, we're moving on or whatever. And I was like, that's some bullshit.
They did in real time.
White man bullshit is what that is.
Yeah.
They did in real time, though, fact check him, finally. Because, and then on Fox News and other, right wingers, they're just like, they were hard on him. They were way harder on him. Like, at one point, you just got to go, he is a convicted felon. This guy's a criminal. Just pointing out
Literally
his lies, pointing out 3 of them out of the 33 that he stated is not being hard on him.
He's also got 3 more indictments coming
There
up.
are and I know that this isn't a popular conversation with either of you or with a lot of white males, but there are some inherent structures built into our society that we don't even notice that are misogynistic.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
agree.
just from...
And racist, too.
I was going to say, like how, some Republicans deny racism exists, but you couldn't possibly deny it and also accept that we had slaves for 400 years in this country. So there would be part of our foundational structure built on those ideals that we don't see because it's what we've always lived with. And so I saw that last night with her. I see that in how she's treated in the media. It's something, pull the veil back a little bit. You and I just had a conversation about something where representation took over and started booking us as a package deal, an all-inclusive. And what that meant was I didn't get paid.
We didn't pay her out of what I got paid.
So now...
So I had to call.
It's the same amount. But
so I had to call. So I had to call.
Yeah, I don't get a check. So I go on the road, I do the shows, and you guys go to shows, you'll see an MC and a feature.
Standing ovation opening in Huntsville.
I do
That's all
both.
I want to say. That's how funny she is.
We only have a 2-person show. I do both. I used to run comedy clubs. That's how I met him.
You don't do both. You do opening and middle. You don't do. We have a 2-person show.
That's
do
what
both.
I'm saying.
No, you said we have a 2-person show. I do both.
No.
Listen to the white man. Go.
Had you been listening, like men don't, the sentence I said right before that is, you guys go to a show, you see there's an MC and a feature.
Right.
We do a 2-man show. I do both.
Right.
MC and feature.
Right. Got it.
And so when I ran clubs for 6 years, and you have a built-in budget for your MC and a built-in budget for your feature and a built-in budget for your headliner. And so they have a budget for 2 people. We don't even ask for that. We just ask that my company gets paid for what I do and his company gets paid for what he does. And he had to, there was some arguing. No, I'm selling it as a all-in-one, all-inclusive package deal. And he had to call and say, it's not happening again. It's not happening because if I took, and he used Andrew Rivers, who's been on this podcast, as an example, if I took Andrew Rivers, you would never do that. You would make sure Andrew Rivers was in the contract. That's how it usually happens.
There's also a double. Not only are they disrespecting you for a woman, but also that you're my wife. And they're like, well, Titus brings his wife
That
on.
is the
No.
double. Yeah.
No, fuck you. This girl's been working 15 years. She's got a special out on Amazon right now, and her second special is better. She got a standing ovation opening. I'm talking a cold opening in Huntsville. So when people go, she's just part of the deal, I go, no, she's her own fucking deal. Let her do it. And so I've learned this, by the way, you can't, because it's been beaten into my head. Honestly, it's brutal.
I got it the most when you said that. If I took Andrew Rivers on the road,
right,
no matter what, they'd be writing into the contract, Andrew Rivers gets this much. It's always in the contract separately, the feature and MC.
So Kamala lives in that.
That's what I was going to say.
But also, I don't think, I will say this. We had a discussion this morning at the house, and I said, I said, the good news is people aren't really beating on that she's a woman. No one's really beating on that, which means we've come a long way. Because I remember when Geraldine Ferraro, I was a kid when it happened, but Geraldine Ferraro ran with Mondale. Look up these names, old young people. And she was the first one to run. She was going to be his vice president. And it was woman can't, woman can't, woman can't, woman can't. And then Hillary, she's a woman. I don't want a woman. I don't want a woman. And since then we had Obama, which I said was a move forward for America. And I feel like we're ready. You said
I disagree.
She said, well, I think we're ready for a woman president, don't you?
I disagree with what you said before. Though.
You don't think she's still getting beat up? I don't. I
think that it is more subversive
that's
than that.
possible.
I think that you are in an echo chamber
of white
predominantly, of Democrats. And so Democrats were not talking about the fact that she's a woman, except to say, holy shit, finally. But I think that the things that they are saying, like, she's dumb. She's not intellectual.
Yep.
She's not, she
That's
doesn't look
woman-based.
black.
Slept her way to the top.
She slept her way to the top.
So she slept with all the voters.
Her last.
All the elections she had. She
her
fucked
last.
everybody?
So why are we not talking about other male politicians the way that they laugh. Because she laughs, it's too girlish. It's a girlish giggle.
How about we're not talking about how Trump never laughs?
Yeah, that's kind
We've never seen the man laugh. Do you understand? We've never seen him crack a joke.
And that's
We've
not
never seen him
disturbing
laugh.
to the voters?
That's a sociopath. That's a fucking, you're a
never owned a dog.
You're a serial killer. You
Yes.
don't own a dog? That means dogs don't like you.
He also refers to, he says,
Satan
her
doesn't own a
boss
dog, by the way.
And her boss, which is like,
That was
got
the
a
other
little,
thing.
Yeah, we got
hey,
that.
I
that's-
said that last night. I said he has to keep pointing out that she has a boss.
She's yes.
subservient to another
To a
man,
man.
and
Yeah.
she's not in charge. Vice president, that's the second most powerful job in the world. And he keeps saying, your boss. I think your boss said that. Except
Ow, that had to
he
hurt.
didn't look at her. Did you notice he
Yeah,
also
never.
would never look at her?
So we had to talk about that too. He was so, people he didn't look at her. He
Nice
was so
that you caught that because I said
fucking
that last
intimidated.
night.
Yeah, we see that left. Also that she, you know, it's so funny to watch her because last night you could see him. There's a couple points if you study body language, and I like to read a body language expert. A couple of times he got so fucking mad, and his eyes opened up, and you could see him having to fucking control it. And I was like, this guy, when he blows, is a bad. If he's a bad, we know he's a bad guy, but he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
And him not looking at her did not come across as strong. It came across cowardly, like you're weak as fuck.
Because she had moments of, she looked at him the whole time.
Yep.
She'd go back and forth, but she had moments of you and was look at him. You are a disgrace. You did this.
She said all the
My
generals.
favorite moment was the almost motherfucker where she goes, and this former president.
Yeah. And it was longer than that.
Yeah.
She was like,
But if someone says that to you, especially like in that kind of forum, if I'm going, wouldn't
You
you?
look.
And then you see his split screen and he's like this.
Except man.
yeah.
But she's like boring holes into him. It looked really weak.
Also, it's weird. Does anybody want a guy? Let's take the politics of the Democrat/Republican shit out of it. Just the way he spoke, just the way he had nothing to say except for it's the worst administration in history.
David.
It's the worst. David, World War III. It's
You know this. Take a look around.
Everybody, by the way,
She knows it better than anyone.
when everybody is saying, nobody is saying.
Exactly.
You just have to start. We should go do a
last
translation, Trump translation. Many people are calling. No one's calling it.
Yeah, it's always the inverse.
We have a concept.
You
of
know
a
it
plan.
better than anyone. You don't know it
I
at all.
laughed so far. I laughed out loud.
You did.
So, what is your plan for healthcare? Well, we have a concept of a plan.
I told him he came home from his bowling league with Zach and Shatraw. Shatraw wasn't there. though,
Shadrach
right?
wasn't there right now.
He's in Scotland pedaling his bicycle around. I told him, he goes, he did not say that. I said, oh no, he said that. When directly asked 9 years into your political
the
whatever.
healthcare plan that's supposed to come in 2 weeks.
Yeah, they were asking about Obamacare. What do you plan to do? It's been 9 years, President Trump.
It's a
This is what
disaster.
David said. And he said, do you have a plan? And that's when he said, we have a concept of a plan.
Wait, this goes back to
It wasn't as funny as Person, Woman, Man, Camera, TV, but it was.
It was
up
right
there.
up there.
he was president. And he, just like we talked about with every other fucking issue, he was already president and didn't do it and
Yes.
kept saying he was going to do it
Yes.
every 2 weeks. And we
Yes.
have clips of all that
Yes.
back to back.
She
And,
mi-
now he's still, and now he just has a
We're going
concept.
to do it. They're doing it. They're talking about it. They're working on it. You'll have it soon, which is what he said when he was in office. And then dipshit McEnany brought the empty giant binder with white pages.
1,000 pages of nothing.
This is our healthcare plan, which literally is their healthcare plan.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
weren't
Well,
lying.
she wasn't
a
lying.
lot of concepts in there.
Lot of concepts.
She missed an opportunity at one point. He goes, we were actually buying all our chips from other countries. Taiwan. And yet she could have went, I'm sorry, we've actually brought chip manufacturing back to America
Yeah.
because of
Yeah.
that exact
Chips Act.
problem.
Yeah.
You had 4 years and didn't do shit
Yeah.
about it. We actually started, it's actually called the Chips Act.
I didn't
You
think
should
about
read
that.
more or have somebody that maybe reads to you.
She didn't say that. You're right.
And that was the first thing I thought was like, we already did that. It's passed. It's through legislation. We're going to bring manufacturing. Foxconn is building a plant in America.
Yeah.
The fuck are you talking
it was a
about?
big deal.
Guy who did shit except
she
run up
didn't mention the Chips Act. You're right.
Well, but then again, he didn't answer. Again, I want to point out that every question they asked him, they had to keep going, you didn't answer the question. That's not what I asked. Just answer the question. And he never did. He would go, it's the worst ever. It's a disaster. By the way, if he says it's a disaster, it's way better than he did.
Here's my other favorite. And if you pay attention, this is what a narcissist does. They say it's 50, 60, 70, even 80%, perhaps more, perhaps less.
Perhaps double.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Right
a
at the
Mitch
end.
Hedberg joke. I was in a band in high school, and people either loved us, or they hated us, or they thought we were okay.
He says everything, so he's not wrong.
He says everything. How many times drink every time he said billions? Hundreds of billions.
Billions.
Do you know how different billion is from 100 billion? It's a lot of billions.
Many of billions, and when people see it, they're surprised.
Oh, that
What?
That was what he said
He also has
about his own wealth. But this was my favorite narcissistic exaggeration. They were talking about the war and in Ukraine, and he said, if he gets elected, he will fix the problem. He will end the war. Lives will not be lost. In fact, I will end it before I become president, before I get into office.
And my favorite of all time.
How do you do it if you're not president?
Babies are being aborted in the 7th, 8th, 9th month, even after birth.
There it was. That was the other one.
See,
It's in the Armageddon update, but what?
sometimes when he just inflates shit, he'll just sneak in a little "I believe," just to kind of a
Yeah,
little bit of a.
Or that's what I think. That's
Yeah.
how I see. Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
You all know this. You all know this. It's a
Another
shitty
good one.
It's a shitty sales technique, and what it does is it makes the other person think, "Oh, I don't know that. You're right. You're right." And it's not, no, motherfucker. We all know that you're lying.
But also, you can't nail him down because at 50, 60, 70,
even
5,
double.
6, 7, 8, 9, even after, it's, is it billions or hundreds?
It's been
of billions?
tripled.
Possibly more,
He
I
said
believe.
tripled, quadrupled, even doubled.
We laughed out loud at that.
I missed that one.
He didn't say tripled. He said quadrupled, even doubled. And we were like, but if you listen, he says all the words. And that's what someone that you divorced used to do in court, where you sit across from her
She would
going,
keep talking.
what?
Yeah, keep talking.
You just said all the options. And then it's hard to catch them,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because
yeah.
they're moving fast and they
That's
said
what I
all the
said.
things.
That's
Well,
what I
I said that. I said, I don't know, billions or hundreds of billions. Well, if you're running this country, you need to know when you're balancing our budget, the difference between $100 billion and a billion.
Yeah.
It's a big difference. So Moscow, the Kremlin has responded today. I wanted to see how the world was responding. Basically, they did not like that Putin's name came up several times. They said, we don't like this and hope they will keep our president's name out of this. And it was like, you keep my wife's name
By the way, keep
out of your
my
fucking
president's
mouth.
name out of your motherfucking mouth.
It's the Will Smith moment.
Well, you know what though? But Putin's the problem in the world right now. Xi has this weird balance. Xi's smarter than Putin in many ways because Xi in China, he's like, well, I got these. A lot of my income comes from America, so I can't motherfuck them too bad. Plus, my housing market just collapsed. So he's got so many economic things. Whereas Putin, on the other hand, we cut Putin off a long time ago, and so Putin's just out of control. What was very odd to me was what.
Was there one thing that struck you as odd?
Well, about the Putin thing is that he kept saying that he lost 300,000 wouldn't be dead.
Of Putin's
but
army.
he blamed it on Biden.
Yeah.
But Putin invaded your. What the fuck are you talking
And he
about?
also said
I
a
don't know
couple
what I
things,
saw.
if you paid attention, that required inside knowledge of Putin's state of mind.
Oh, he called him 2 weeks. Biden hasn't
When
talked
I
to him.
spoke to Putin after the election, and then he said Biden hasn't called him in over 3 years.
2 years, but
Or
yes.
2 years.
How the fuck do you know that?
We don't. The U.S. doesn't court dictators,
How
especially
do-
ones that have invaded sovereign countries
But
that we
also,
ally with.
How do you? We kept going. How
How
do you
know that?
know?
How do you know he hasn't called him?
Biden won't even call me on the phone. So I've texted him nothing. He will not call me back.
Like how
You
do you
make
know?
Putin so whimsical.
Like Ray caught it so fast because she's so smart. She caught it so fast, and I was like, "Oh shit, you're right."
Yeah, because they're like banging each other.
And then we started,
So they-
then we started watching. I see him on the Tinder app, Biden, he is always swiping right on Vladimir. It's not okay.
So then after that, he dropped in that Putin is very sad. He's lost over 300,000 people in his army. You want to run this country and you're showing sympathy for the lives lost on the Russian side that invaded a sovereign nation and raped and beheaded women and children?
Yeah,
Like,
and as Kamala pointed out too, Trump said that Putin was brilliant.
Yeah.
And how he invaded Ukraine.
She was really, Ray said it too this morning. She was really good at not beating the shit out of him because she could have just, but there was enough.
Yeah.
She goes, what do you see? She just, no, you don't grasp, you just can't grasp the concept. What did she say? That was
she
awesome.
said, you were fired by 81 million people and you seem to have difficulty
What happened? I
with
think the mic got
processing that.
Yes.
That was the best moment.
You know, I felt like we were like talking about this a couple days ago. I'm like, she's going to drop a building on him. This isn't easy, right? Or she's fucking guillotine him.
Yeah.
And she just kind of scalped.
Yes.
Slowly.
But also,
and let him.
Now we're back to the woman thing.
Well,
the woman thing, because if she got too hard on him, they said, God, she was so
she's a
bitchy and hard on him.
bitch.
But she was so elegant.
But she can
Mom,
appeal.
I liked, my mom was like that. I liked what they said after on MSNBC, that she would answer the issue and then dangle bait. Whatever his things are that we know he's going to respond to. Charlottesville, there's fine people. Oh, the rally crowd size. She got him on the ropes then, and he never got off the ropes.
For 4 minutes. I need to answer my crowd. She can't get anybody crowds. And we were like, we just watched like packed arenas.
They go and ask him a serious question.
For 4 minutes, he talked about crowd size.
First, David, I'm going to talk about what she said about the rallies, the crowd size. Nobody's leaving my rallies. We were like,
everyone's leaving her rallies. Nobody shows up.
She said they were paid actors and AI generated.
They're paying everybody. And by the way, again, always remember this. When he says it, he's doing it.
Exactly.
They have paid people at his rallies.
And we know that.
Crazy. Yes. Also, then he goes, she ripped him. He goes, you're a laughing stock. Oh, sorry. She said, you're a laughing stock. And he goes, no, I have great, people think I'm strong. Viktor Orban, Hungary. Fuck, one of the worst dictators currently in the world.
Guy?
Yeah, that's the guy.
That's your reference?
He says I'm very great.
That's your reference. You know, I am supposed to be running this preschool, but now, who do you have for references? Hitler and Charles Manson. And they're great with kids.
And that was actually one more than he had.
They're great with kids. And Orban's one of the worst people. And I started laughing again. Like, he kept talking about how Viktor Orban loves me.
That's a problem.
That's not a good thing.
That's a problem.
You just said the wrong. Well, you know what? We're not hiring.
Joe Biden hates you. That's what he said at one point.
He hates her. Joe Biden hates her. And then today,
I'll let you in on a little secret. Like he would have Joe Biden's secrets. He hates her. He can't stand her. And you just went, wow.
But what? But like, what? What are you trying to do? Like, okay, wait. So he hates the woman he picked to be his VP when he could have picked anybody in America. He actually, on the phone when she got nominated, it's up to you, kid. Love you, kid. Right. So, and then today he's at the 9/11 memorial with her, and they're like standing side by side, and I just go, like, he hates her. Like, it's a sixth grader.
I've
you
seen
know
them.
what? He hates you. You know what? Yeah, he hates you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he hates you. Yeah, you're mad now, right? Like, what the fuck, dude? Like the petulant child in him. And it's funny because he's a grown man and he had some power. Is that I watched him when she was talking. I would watch his face, and man, Pelican.
Pelican.
He's Pelican.
When he gets where he does the bottom thing all the way up, then he eases it, watches himself on the monitor, and then does that.
It was very. But I will say this. It's funny and it's also frightening when you look at how like he was fucking mad and I you know, being a dude who's trained martial arts and stuff, like guys like that are like, they'll do anything.
That's why
they'll do anything.
If on face value, let's say everybody was truthful and everything that he said was true, right? Normal thing. The fact that she was able to get a rise out of him so easily.
Yeah.
That right there is just
not qualified.
That's not presidential.
Yeah.
Gone.
And all this shit he said about her, she never got rattled one time. At one point, she said some crazy shit. She looked at him crazy. And then when they came to her, she giggled. I go, that was a girlish giggle. She went,
she goes, okay, well that's extreme.
So when I watched it, I thought, do you want people? Let's say you're on the fence. He said he didn't just say shit that was evil. He said shit that was 8th grade bully evil, and she never once got rattled. He got rattled every time. Do you really want that man sitting down with Xi or Putin or anybody to negotiate? We're fucked if that guy's negotiating for us, as we can see by his 6 bankruptcies. And he got so mad, the personal shit he got so mad at. She got, none of us were given $400 million by dad. I was given a fraction of that.
399.9er.
His cousin, Mary Trump, is it Mary Trump? Who's the woman? His niece came out and said, no. His dad gave him this. No,
we know that.
We have the records.
Sue's, what's her name, that got the Pulitzer Prize for the financial article about him and about his casino and his dad sending money into the casino. They tracked that back. Susan. Forget his
financial records. You're right. They did a whole thing on it.
His social media stock has plummeted today. Plunges to record low after his rocky debate performance.
Hello, because there's a reason for I'm asking.
Plunged 17% today.
What's the number?
I don't know. I don't follow that.
Here's the problem. So he's coming up on in 60 days. It's less than 60 days now. He can sell all his stock. Now he has like a bunch of billions of shares of this. I have a theory about this stock thing. Because remember, this came out of
115 million shares.
So this, by the way, this came out of fucking nowhere, right? All of a sudden, DJT is on the stock market. And it was a couple of $1 billion,
and
right?
Financial analysts keep saying there's no trade or tangible thing to back up the stock. The stock represents nothing.
Or there's also no money. Like, where did this come from? So you're investing in nothing. What would be the most brilliant money laundering operation you've ever heard? You get Saudi, you get all Russia. These people. So how do you pay a guy who might be president, especially when Biden was running? They were pretty sure he was going to win. So you get a bunch of countries, Iran, whoever, and they go, we're going to invest. We're going to send all this money to this. We're going to invest in this stock, the DJT stock. So they put $4 billion in, whatever it is. He has 100. How many? 100 million shares? 115 million shares.
114.75 million. So I can give you the number now.
So now, if he's doing well in the polls, that stock goes up. If he becomes president, that stock fucking goes through the roof. Yeah. So now these countries who've invested in, by the way, this is my theory. They've invested in this stock. A stock now that started at $40 a thing is now $80 a thing. He's now making $25 billion off these countries. And who do you think is going to get some deals? Russia probably get some deals. We're going to pull everything out of Ukraine. No, we don't need us anymore. Zelensky fucked me on that thing anyway. He also said that he was going to go after ABC when he's president. He said he's going after ABC when he's president. So I'm just saying that this guy. So if
he said that before the debate.
So he can sell the stock in like 60 days. He can't sell it if it drops below $12.
So the actual number. You may be onto something because
let me give you guys the numbers real quick before you break that down. It was actually $67.
Started.
It is now $16.80.
So if it drops another,
so he had $6.2 billion of stake in the company. That fell to it lost half its value when Biden dropped out. And then now it's fallen again. He currently has 1.8 from 6.2.
If it goes below 12, he can't sell. And if he sells, by the way, when that number comes up and he does sell, that stock's going to tank. I think this is the biggest money laundering idea. People keep thinking, how did he bankrupt casinos? Well, there's $900 million disappeared from those casinos. They went out the back door. So this guy is a fucking criminal, and I don't understand why we can't go after him. Go ahead. What are you going to say?
Well, recently, Russia, this did just come out, that Russia was funding some right-wing podcasts.
Yeah, it came out. Yeah,
like, influencers and stuff.
What's fucking Tim Pool? Pool.
By the way, he like Hamana. It was hilarious.
Yeah, and I don't know, Lauren Chen. I've recognized their faces, but I don't follow it. And she and the company knew.
That beard says you follow it.
I do.
And that
my
you
profile pic is
prepping.
all over the place.
You've decided which part of your son you're going to eat in the apocalypse.
And which dog.
That's why we don't have pets.
This episode, speaking of the apocalypse, brought to you by Fitbod. Because you're going to need to be in shape. Because the key is being able to outrun
zombies.
Anything.
You got to fight zombies.
Exactly. Fitbod, I have to live in a Fitbod ad every day of my life. He loves this company. It has worked for him. He's coming up on 2 years in November. It's the first time I've known him for 18 years. And when it came to working out, you've always loved it, but you get busy. It's like hit and miss, right? You and I would go through phases. If I was training for a show, he would train.
Very inconsistent.
Then we would both stop.
I would also eat Snickers in front of you during that time.
Yeah, it was Reese's. I'll never forget it.
Wow, that's evil.
Day before,
I don't know what it was.
Day before my program started, I'm on this with you. We're doing it together. And I was like, okay. Day 1, I have to eat a cup and a half of oatmeal, like dry, and he's eating Reese's cups. And I was like, what happened? He goes, I don't have to do it. You chose it.
I don't know what happened to me. Flip-flopped. I don't know. Yeah, flip-flopped hard. It was like.
So this is the first time. I mean, you have a relationship with Fitbod. Fitbod is a workout app. If you guys haven't tried it yet, it's an AI intuitive workout app that completely tailors to you, your equipment, what your goals are, what you want to do that day. And it makes sure that you don't overtrain. It tracks everything from the days before as well as your progress, that it tailors every day your new workout. You
Tracks
don't have
your
to leave
record,
your
tracks
house.
your max, tracks. It also tracks like, so let's say you're working out at a certain level and you're getting through it. And what ends up happening is that it'll actually up your weights.
Yeah.
There's a couple things it's gone too far with and it could be because of my input. So what I started doing was, if it's too heavy so I don't get hurt, I drop the weight down. On the app, you can just drop the weight down and I tell it, and then it goes, oh, okay, fine. All right.
See how it's a relationship?
Because sometimes
then she goes,
well,
what?
I was doing shoulders, and I was having my arms just to do the weight, and I thought I'm supposed to do them like this straight, and so I had to drop the weight to do it right.
Well,
she's very
slight elbow bend.
She's
and elbows
very
higher,
she's very on me.
I'm Dennis when it comes to workout.
By the way, slow down. Don't do reps that fast. You're actually moving the weight. You're moving. It's
momentum.
No momentum.
Constant tension.
No momentum. Yeah.
He always goes, okay, Dennis, this is the Dennis of fitness.
It's the best workout. It is tracked everything. It tracks my workouts by month, when I can see how many I've worked out this month, which makes you set a goal. It reminds me of what I'm supposed to do. It'll give me, I was in the hotel room this last week when I was on the road, and I worked out 3 days in a row. And the third day I was like, I don't want to go to the weight room because it was at a residence inn, and there was like, they're missing the 30s and the 35s.
But only one.
Yeah, but one. Yeah. There was 130. And so I go, all right, I'm just going to do the body weight workout and hit it on body weight. And man, and I'm burpees. I'm like so upset about burpees, but so I'm almost 2 years. November will be 2 years. I will tell you this, people. I can do things now, and it's consistency.
Yeah.
But this thing, I've never been good at consistency when it comes to this. This app kept me consistent, and I was doing something. I was doing Romanian deadlifts, single leg, and I used to wobble. And I was doing lunges too. I used to have problems with lunges.
Those you'd want your arms straight, but you'd want to retract your shoulder.
By the way, retract shoulder blades.
Chest up,
and your scapula.
So, but I did, and I'm like dead solid now, and I noticed it. This has made such a difference in my health and my life. And the more you work out, people, and the more muscle you build, the longer you're going to live.
And that's the thing too, is people are like, well, I don't work out. I've never worked out. I don't know what I'm doing. Well, it has videos, and he, like he said, can do things and knows things about working out now that he never knew before. And it built on that. He started at 0. You can start at 0 in your living room with no equipment, and it will teach you.
I was a single cell animal. I was just a blob.
Yep, he was an amoeba. So lock in and stay focused. Join Fitbod today to get your personalized workout plan. You'll get 25% off your subscription, or you can just try that app for free for 7 days at fitbod.me/Titus. That's fitbod.me/Titus. Go check it out. We love it. Okay, so there's a fact check that was done. Trump has also said that he won't debate Kamala Harris again, and then attack the ABC moderators over their fact checking.
You're supposed to let me say what I want to say and not interrupt me.
You're a nasty person for telling me how much I lied.
So they would, after he would say crazy shit, so like about dogs, they're eating dogs. Immigrants are eating people's dogs. And she's going, and the guy goes, okay, well, actually, David, we've contacted the city manager.
Oh, city manager, that's right.
And they said that there have been no actual reports of anyone doing that ever.
I saw it on television.
That's what he said.
But the TV said it.
The TV said many things that you don't know. You need to watch more TV, guy who's on TV.
The guy
I'll tell you a
who
little
wants
secret.
to be president said, but I saw it on TV.
Oh, fuck, man. That's why I kept, what am I watching? I kept saying, what am I watching?
Which came from somebody's just a Facebook post. As soon as I said the source of it.
Newsmax.
The thing in Denver where they supposedly immigrants have taken over an apartment building. Untrue. Yeah. It's untrue. It's
so here's his quote on Fox this morning. He called in just like after the debate last night. He walked himself into the spin room, which is where representatives of people go to spin a story and drum up some interest.
Yeah,
they go, stop, hold on. He has actually walked out of the debate into the spin room, and Rachel Maddow goes, himself? Like, he's in the press
Rachel Maddow
spin
was
room?
like, what?
And she goes, well, that doesn't bode well for how they think his performance went. In the beginning, he's just standing like this, looking around, and nobody's talking to him.
You ever do something like if you have as a comic, if you have a bad set at open mic and you get off, there is like this weird bubble of
like a moat around you,
like ignoring
Yes,
you,
yes.
where nobody
touch you.
like nobody,
Yes.
and he just stood there.
That was me.
Nobody
at the,
came up, told him he was great. No one came up to any. You could
He does smell bad though.
It was seventh grade dance being told no by everybody.
That was me. My last time I ever did the Aspen Comedy Festival, and actually, audience ignored me after, except for this. They'd like try and keep their eyes down as they went by, but a lot of the comics jumped on me, and Bobby Slayton backed them off. That's why I always will say I love Bobby Slayton.
Yeah.
So he called in today to Fox, and he said, "Here's the quote."
Hold on.
Well, when you win the debate, I don't know that I want to do another debate.
Wow.
Yes.
So
He then insulted Brett Baer and Martha McCallum.
I'm sorry.
He proposed Jesse Waters or Sean Hannity or Laura Ingraham instead.
Didn't he claim that he won the debate against Biden and then wanted to do another one? Right. This is like 2 months ago, right?
Well, everybody said he would.
There were going to be two more.
Yeah.
And can I talk up? Oh, go ahead.
The Harris campaign is asking for the vice presidential debate to happen immediately. CBS is now hosting that face-off on October 1st. That'll be your birthday present.
Hey.
Also, Fox, if you watched last night, apparently they all said that Harris won. And Brett Hume apparently was like, wow, I love her. She's awesome. So that's not going to go well today.
But also, who do you want? I want someone that she was unflappable. No matter what crazy bullshit he said, she was unflappable. And to the point where she was like, hey, man, you're kind of full of shit. Like, guys, he's lying over and over.
He said last night was 3-on-1. And they are a news organization. They have to be licensed to do it. They ought to take their license away for the way they did that.
Unlike Fox News?
One more thing I want to say. This dude, do you want a fucking president that constantly whines and bitches and is constantly a victim, that can't fucking take a piece of criticism, that literally, if it doesn't go everything his way, it's rigged, it's false, it's fake news. Fuck you. You are the weakest, most cowardly fuck we've ever had in that office. As you know, I was reading about Viktor Orban, because when I was writing Armageddon, same thing with Viktor Orban. Cowardly. Fucking, it's like, it's, do you want that guy? You want a woman that stood in the fucking fray of this psychopath and just kept holding her own, didn't have any problem with it? Have you seen her? Go. By the way, you guys think anybody who has the balls to say this woman's stupid? We've been around since she was in California. Yeah. We followed this woman. She is smart as shit. As a matter of fact, and people forget this. Remember this: when your friends go, she's dumb. After the financial crisis happened and the mortgage crisis happened and everything went to shit, they sued all the lenders. California did, for all these people that got ripped off. They came back. These giant banks came back, who are worth trillions of dollars, come back and go, we're going to give you $2 billion to settle out with all the homeowners we screwed over. She went, no, you're not. Fuck you.
Yeah, she was.
And they were going after $50 billion, whatever. She got from $2 billion to $20 billion. She went and got everybody their money. This woman doesn't play. Watch some of her Senate
She
hearings.
went up and shook his hand today at the 9/11 memorial service, and she says you can see several sentences to him, but I can't tell what he's saying. But his one move that he always does to her hand when she shakes his hand is he has his little soft Cabbage Patch hand in there, and he always puts his other hand so he's holding. But he did it last night too. He tries to have his little bit of power wherever he can. This episode brought to you by HelloFresh. Speaking of having power, you need power to keep HelloFresh refrigerated. I don't know. It's a thin thread. Did you get yours?
Getting it today.
Today, I am too. I just got the delivery notice, and I'm like,
well, you're going to see your sister. I get it.
No, you're going to wait for me.
No, I'm not.
HelloFresh, I love this company because I don't have to leave my house. I just put that right out there. I don't have to go to a grocery store with fluorescent lighting. in people. And it's the best food
That's why I
on
like
a
it.
shocking level, because you see the pictures and you're like, I don't eat whatever that is.
So-
or I don't know what that is. And then you eat it and it's effing incredible.
So I'll say that I can get any kind of food delivered I want. I can get anything delivered to the house. What I like about HelloFresh is that, okay, so that's covered. It comes to the house. But it's there's nothing we've ever cooked where I went, I always go, I look at it. I'm like, the hell is it? It's always so good.
It's a food delivery service that you customize. And if you don't want to customize, they pick them for you, which I have done on some weeks because I always am wrong. I get to try something new and turns out I do eat that thing. And now I know how to cook something new. And so I usually choose 3 meals for 4 people because then I have leftovers. He never does because he always eats both of his portions in one sitting, but it's separated by bags. So whatever veggies or sauces or rice or whatever you need for that one meal, it's all inside its own bag with a QR code. And they also give you pretty picture cards.
And a menu. You get it, shows you how to cook it. It's so awesome. I feel like sometimes when you're in the kitchen as a dude who doesn't cook a lot, you're like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing here. You know, microwave, boop.
Yep.
This, you go, okay, grab a skillet, do this, boom, and you cook it, right?
Yep.
And why does it does always look like the picture?
Yeah, it's like easy, like panels, like a comic strip.
Yeah.
It's like really cool looking.
Yeah.
And you can just like at a glance, through the steam, you can just go, oh yeah, and then I got to just grill these onions.
And
Boom.
it makes you, if you're bad at time management in the kitchen, it is like a comic. So it's 1, 2, 3. And it's like, okay, now while this water is boiling, you're now going to chop your carrots or whatever. And so it teaches you time management for cooking to get you in and out. I don't think I've ever had one take longer than 25 minutes.
Yeah,
For me, the food's excellent. That's my number 1. Number 2, totally convenient. Number 3, cheaper.
The food is
that's
beyond.
It. I'm out. I'm done.
It's like my favorite restaurant.
Yes,
like,
yes,
I'm
yes.
going to treat myself, special
I
occasion.
said that
It's like that every fucking time.
There was a couple burgers we got where I was like, I've gone to great places and paid way too much, and it's never been this good.
Like hipster burger joint. So you can choose from quick and easy, vegetarian, family friendly, fit and wholesome. You can tailor it. Go look at the website, pick what you want. For free breakfast for life. They have good breakfast too. Go to HelloFresh.com/free Titus. That's 1 free breakfast item per box, the whole life of your subscription while it's active. That's free breakfast for life just by going to HelloFresh.com/free Titus. America's #1 meal kit. You guys got to try it and then tell us what you made.
By the way, after this podcast and the Armageddon updates, if Trump's elected, free Titus.
Free Titus.
I'm going. It's gonna be with Brett Baer going, hey man, the guy from Fox.
So,
David. Not Brett Baer.
Chris Wallace said Trump's performance was devastating. Lindsey Graham said,
Yeah, we've lost. It's a disaster. He called it
a disaster.
Which is so funny that Lindsey Graham used the title. Now he's going to come up tomorrow. Lindsey Graham will come up tomorrow and go, best performance I've ever seen. That's what I have there tomorrow.
So as far as the world stage, there's concern in Kyiv over the Trump comments. I already told you about what the Kremlin is saying. There are now, we haven't talked about this one yet, Abdul memes. After his rant on the Taliban.
The head of the Taliban. Abdul, the head of the Taliban. He just threw it. It's the only Middle Eastern name he could pop out. And he's like, hey, there's a million of them. He's like, Abdul. Like, what would you get it from a Warner Brothers cartoon from the 40s?
Right.
Like,
and then he goes, actually.
Bugs Bunny called the guy, how's it going there, Abdul? Like, what do you, like, would you fucking
He goes, actually, he's still the leader of the Taliban. As though that gave him even more credibility.
Yeah.
So people don't understand this. I'm gonna handle this real quick, and then I want to talk about one more thing, and then I'll shut up. So Trump keeps saying it was a disaster to pull out of Afghanistan. What people don't understand is that year Trump sent Pompeo to negotiate not with the Afghan government. He didn't send him to go to see Karzai. He sent Pompeo to negotiate with the head of the Taliban.
I felt like she started to say this, and she didn't drive it home. Someone needs to say that.
Yeah.
We didn't negotiate the withdrawal.
I was trying, and you stopped me from doing it. That's what happened to her too.
No, I'm agreeing with you.
So we didn't negotiate the withdrawal. Part of the negotiation was 5,000 Taliban fighters that were currently in prison got released. So what happened was is the second Trump left, and he did it for a reason. You got to remember, Trump is very, very cagey in one sense. He's a 3-card money guy. So what he did was he did this negotiation. He knew he was losing in the polls.
He went to Doha in February.
He pretty much knew he was going to lose.
Yep.
He set it up so, and they set it up for the day the withdrawal was right after whoever got elected, but he knew it was going to be Biden. So then what happens is you got 5,000 people hauling ass across Afghanistan to get to Kabul to stop this. And then they have to do it. So one of the guys, the guy who blew up the vest, the guy that killed the 13 Marines, the bomb, he was one of the Taliban fucking prisoners. Yep. So this wouldn't have happened had Trump negotiated with the Afghan government instead of the terrorists.
This is
he handed them. It's like negotiating with Titus.
It's almost like an October surprise, like a redo. Yeah. So back when Reagan kind of screwed over Carter with the Iran, with the getting the hostages out of Iran.
Well, the helicopters crashed, and so what happened was that they said Iran was scared, right? They were scared they were going to do it.
Yeah,
and then Reagan said, no, don't do anything.
Don't do it yet
until
I'm in
hostages
office.
Until I get elected.
Yeah,
and that came out 15 years after that. That's so. Trump, the reason Afghanistan went so bad was 100% because of Trump, and yet he keeps doing it. She called him on the immigration thing pretty good. She was like, and he didn't really have an answer for, he kind of just started rambling, but he didn't really have an answer for why he tried them to.
Really? Oh, he didn't for that one thing? He didn't have an answer?
Yeah, everything else he was dead on.
Dogs! They're eating dogs, David.
I'm eating dogs. What am I watching? I am not watching a presidential debate. I'm watching
he just fell out of the bed because I scared him and he flipped over. Speaking of dogs.
Now, can I also say this? And again, what you said about Trump is really funny. Solar, you got to use up hundreds of miles of desert to get enough power to do anything. Solar's horrible. It's the worst thing we've ever done. And I like solar.
I love solar.
What? What did you just what?
In the same sentence, like you said.
I'm like, what are you?
Speaking of stinky men, this episode brought to you by Mando.
Yep, good stuff.
Again, pitching this product to everyone I know with teenage boys because of you. Mando is a whole body deodorant. Yes, you can put it all over your whole body. It's dermatologist tested. It's gentle on everywhere, everything. I want to say Grundle because they have it in the ad copy.
It popped in my head too.
It's no aluminum, no benzene, parabens, and it's dye-free. It's 72-hour odor control developed by a doctor. It's not going to cause you irritation. You can put it in your everywhere, and it's going to keep you stank-free.
So I was doing work at the cabin. We had the snow load problem. I had to take out one of the walls, and I was up there. And I worked I got up like 9-10 o'clock. Worked all the way to like 9 o'clock that night, and I was stunned. Actually, I was like, "That really?" At the end of the day when you go, "Oh God!"
Yeah. No wonder there's a moat around me.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, you guys have balls, and
some of us do. Alphas, alphas do.
I actually,
that you warm under heat lamps in the back of McDonald's.
I'm not. Yeah.
Yeah, but they are in contact with your legs all day. Or your stomach, depending.
I wear underpants, so I don't. They're actually not in contact with my legs; they're in contact with my underpants.
But
if they are, you peel it.
They would have to contact something.
Ever hear it?
I have a second cousin.
Whenever I'm in the bathroom, you hear that Velcro noise. That is me pulling my balls from my legs.
I have a second cousin that the whole time you're talking to him, he'll be doing.
Oh yeah, he's trying to
this, and I hate. You know who I'm talking about?
I don't do that,
and I hate that he does it, and we all know that he's unsticking his balls in polite conversation. And I just think that it makes it a lot less polite, and you should use Mando, cousin.
I will say this, Mando works.
It definitely works, and I like the wipes too. You can keep those in the car.
And I also think the aluminum thing, like, why would you put metal on, like, literally one of your most
seriously,
like one of your most like sensitive things in the world?
Stop pretending aluminum. It's just for your armpits.
Aluminum zirconium.
Can confirm for Wyatt?
Can confirm. He has a new confidence about him, I feel. He
comes out of the bathroom. Aren't going, ew.
Yeah. Well, he gets to walk out and be like, I'm ready for the world.
Oh,
yeah.
He is. He's 13. Right?
He just turned 14.
That's right.
Sunday. He just turned 14.
Because he got his first phone. He just turned 14.
He waited to 14. Good man.
Yeah, that is really good, actually. So they have body wash, they have the deodorant cream tube, they have the cleansing bar, they've got deodorant wipes, they have everything for you and also your pubescent children.
Also, the Mandalorian was is a Star Wars hero, and what kind of deodorant do you use? Of course, I use Mando.
Grogu is not your Grendel,
you can use it on your Grogu's. Yes, you can. You can actually spread it on your
Try
Grogu's.
the starter pack. That's what he got for Wyatt. It's perfect for new people that haven't tried it before. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, two free products of your choice, like the mini body wash or deodorant wipes, and you get free shipping. So we have a discount code to help get you hooked up on our favorite smelling whole body deodorant on the market. New customers get $5 off of that starter pack with our code Titus. So that would equate to like over 40% of your starter pack off. Use promo code Titus at shopmando.com. That's SHOPMANDO.com.
See, this is why we need a woman president. Okay, let's talk about a woman president.
Mm-hmm.
Rachel just nailed that final entire paragraph, clean and crisp,
Mm-hmm.
while she was calming the dog at the same time.
And
Did you
I
see
was
this?
actually compiling in my head, because I have to go see my sister in like an hour and a half, what I was going to pack in the car.
Multiple gears.
So can I? So
That is true.
we were talking about this. Do we have any more ads today?
Uh-huh.
Oh, we do. I just know. Okay. So let's talk about that for a second. There is a certain misogynistic bro version of this, a part of the society that is like, well, I don't want a woman brother. Like, well, first of all, dude, you've really never really dealt with a woman. So I've been married to I've been with a very strong, smart, insightful woman for 18 years. And there's not, I mean, it's not all.
Your eyes also went a little wonky right there.
It's not all roses. It's not all roses. Let me just
I did
say,
detect the sarcasm.
And she would say the same thing too. It's not all roses.
Oh, it's all roses.
But I will say this: when the shit's hitting the fan. By the way, when the shit's hitting the fan, she's great. When the shit's not hitting the fan and something little comes up, she's a wreck. You can be a wreck on the littlest shit.
Oh, like traveling. Yeah.
like
Something that I have to do every week of my life.
Like almost to tears. But then I'm like, hey, we're effed on the house. We need this loan fixed. And she's like, got it. Fucking, it's done. So I have no problem. And she's.
You're not a lawyer, but can you take over my entire divorce case, which is millions of dollars hanging in the balance?
And then made the lawyers look stupid.
Or my niece, you know what? Could you throw together a 52-page restraining order request? Yeah, I've never been to law school.
Also, when you give her a compliment, she really wants to amp her own compliment up.
Yes.
If I can go even further so she can really.
No. I wanted to talk about heinous things. Like you said, house alone. And I'm like, I'm better at like really heinous things.
Yeah, true.
Pancreatic cancer.
You would not believe the brief she wrote that got my entire case, my divorce case. It was like even the judge was like, the judge said, because she put all the right evidence in, and the judge said, I believe your attorney I was misled in this case. And she flipped it. We were standing there stunned while my ex was like, well, I have papers right here that state that everything
50, he gave me 50, 60, 70, 80, maybe more, maybe less percent.
Quadruple,
there's abortions after birth. What are you talking about?
I did love that they called him, that they stopped and said, actually, there are no states in which it is legal to kill a child. Mm-hmm. So I thought, she was a little nervous when she came out. I don't know if everyone noticed or not. I know we noticed because we're performers. You noticed.
I heard it.
And the dry mouth.
I was listening. I could hear it. I said that on the phone.
And then they brought up abortion, and he lied, and she got mad. And that's what has been one of her pet projects, is that issue in the White House.
She dropped into the pocket.
Boy, did she. I saw that old Kamala flare in her eyes, and I was like, okay, here we go. He said that we support aborting babies in the 9th month, and we're in favor of executing babies after they're born.
After birth.
Trump says
that's baby murder, is what that is. It's baby murder.
That's just murder.
Here's what he said. Apparently, according to Donald Trump last night, abortion has nothing to do with women, but it has to do with legal scholars. He said that, here's a quote, for 52 years, they've been trying to get Roe v. Wade into the states. Every legal scholar, every Democrat, every Republican, liberal, conservative, they all wanted this issue to be brought back to the states where the people could vote.
No,
he never
they-
said
no,
woman once.
Not a snot. That
Nobody.
is not nobody. We
Every.
had
All of you. Every.
As a matter of fact, every Supreme Court justice that he nominated lied in a congressional hearing and said Roe is set precedent
Yes.
and we will not deal with it.
And then he
Not-
addressed them. The genius and heart and strength of 6 Supreme Court justices,
Not-
by the way, rule in my favor when those cases come up.
Not only did the man just lie about everything that you just said he said, but he actually put people on the court that took away 50% of the rights of the population of America. Women don't have rights anymore. And the fucking fucked up part about it is that there's women that are still vote for him. Like, I'm going to vote for him. How the fuck? See, the man took away the ability to run your own body. What are you talking about? And that, again, that's why I kept saying, I don't know what I'm watching, and I don't know how people can. Polls are out today. He's still there. It's still basically a statistical tie. How?
Yeah, how in the fuck? How I just can't. It makes no fucking sense. How is anybody still supporting this guy at all? I mean, except for the billionaires.
I think we're going to be shocked when it comes down. Here's my prediction, and we can either. The good news is that whatever happens, you'll be able to say I'm dead right or dead wrong. I think it's going to be such a rout. I think it's going to be. I think he's going to Biden beat him by 8 million votes. I think it's going to be somewhere around 12 or 13 million votes. He gets beaten by nobody. By the way, they raised $46 million in the last 24 hours.
What did you say last night? They told me. Okay, so let's also be clear about this. In the last 2 weeks, his handlers have had him going on news outlets, and he has admitted he lost finally because they've realized people don't want to hear it anymore. We're at the end of it. It's not true, whatever. He said,
It also makes him sound like an idiot.
we lost by a whisker. He said on one podcast or radio show, he said 3 different versions of that. And then he got questioned by David about that. And he goes, I said that?
Didn't even know what he said.
Then he said, first
It's
he
not
said,
true.
Then he said, "Oh, I meant that.
I was being
I was being
sarcastic.
I was being
sarcastic.
sarcastic." So did you didn't know you said it, and then a millisecond later,
You
you
remember
acknowledged
you were
that you
being
said
sarcastic.
it, but you remembered that you're being sarcastic. God damn,
Yes.
he just a blatant.
Yes.
How he's blatantly lying to your face
All
in
the
real time.
Constantly, right?
Trump would not answer on whether or not he would veto a national abortion ban. Asked why his running mate J.D. Vance said they would do so, Trump replied that he and Vance hadn't talked.
The guy that's running with you to be the most powerful people on the planet? Really?
Your answers, he doesn't get, like Orban, or, it's like your answers don't make it better. You've made it worse.
Right.
You've actually proven
and then let's talk about what he said about January 6th. He started going about January 6th. They said January 6th. We watched it. We basically saw an insurrection. Do you wish? He said, do you wish you had done anything differently on that day? And he went off. He goes, yeah. What about all the people that burned down Minneapolis? How come they're not prosecuted? What about because it was the Boogaloo Boys who were on the right wing, and they did burn.
That.
They
yes,
did.
and they did get in trouble.
They did burn it down, and they're in prison right now.
Yes.
But it was the Boogaloo Boys that set the police station on fire.
Yeah.
So let's go through it. And he just started screaming, what about the people that burned down Seattle? What about that? How come they're not? And I was like, again, what am I watching?
Yeah.
Like, you're not answering any questions. What about? Listen, motherfucker, I don't want a president that what abouts it. I want a president to go, here's the problem. All right, here's what we're doing.
Yes.
And
I don't want a what aboutism president.
the question was, he gave a speech, right? And then they stormed the Capitol. He waited 2 hours before. 2 hours.
Commander-in-Chief.
That's the question. 2
he
hours.
blamed Nancy Pelosi,
It was. Oh, that was the.
who was not the commander-in-chief, who did not control the
Nancy
the
Pelosi said it was her
military.
fault.
No, Nancy Pelosi, as she said, was being a leader and going, no one else is handling this.
So why did he wait 2 fucking
To do
hours
anything.
to tell them,
Yes.
calm down?
Yes. And then he said about
as he watched
I
it
don't
on
know,
TV.
this,
It was
he said
187
something,
minutes.
this is not exact verbatim, but something to the effect of, I don't know, they told me to deliver that speech. I didn't, it wasn't him. But what he doesn't realize is whether they told you or not 2 hours in, that's not what we're upset about. We're upset that it didn't happen 2 hours before
Exactly. Yes.
that. And he doesn't get that. So we just want things to be better. And speaking of things being better, this episode brought to you by Miracle Made. Actually, we have so many of our products will make your life better.
I need
we
a Miracle
get
Maid.
people writing in about all this stuff. You don't need a Miracle Maid,
Just a maid.
like a French maid.
yes.
You're not talking about the van that's driving around topless Miracle Maid. So that's not what you need.
Yeah, do you
the
guys
pink
know
van?
we have that in LA? He knows the van. Oh, you mean the pink van with the
Just
license
parked out
plate
front?
XJY124?
Hold on, I got a card.
A punch card.
I'll be there this afternoon.
This episode brought to you by Miracle Maid. It is not the maids that you can call that are topless
To provide
in Los
miracles.
Angeles. It's the sheets that you know that we love. It's so freaking hot outside, although today is maybe a little more bearable.
It seems like we made a turn, yes.
If you wake up too hot or too cold, too hot, too cold, I recommend trying these sheets. They're inspired by NASA and they use silver infused fabrics that help with temperature regulating so that you can sleep better all night long. Also, here's my favorite part. Traditional bed sheets can have a lot of bacteria in them, more than a toilet seat, because if you think about it, some people don't shower at night, right? They shower in the morning. So you get into bed after being out in the world all day and it's gross. So
Right. And when you this is one of those ads that when I heard about how much, like I shower before I go to bed now all the
Yes.
time. Yeah.
yeah,
And some
'cause
people, like
it's
Trump,
gross.
shit the bed. So
My niece said the other day, because we love my nephew's, he's 6 months old. We call it his diaper booty, when they're on their tummy and they got the little pat. And yesterday, Trump walked by the camera and she goes, "Hey, he's got diaper booty,
He does, yep.
but it's not as
Yep.
cute."
Yep.
A mom recognized a diaper booty.
Yep.
Anyway, so these sheets, they offer a whole line of self-cleaning antibacterial bedding, such as sheets, pillowcases, and comforters that prevent up to 99.7% of that bacteria growth, which means you don't have to wash them as often. It's 3 times less laundry. So also super comfortable, pretty luxurious feeling sheets. We got the white ones because I like being able to bleach
crispy
stuff.
feeling when you get in bed. It's
Love
nice.
it, love it, love it. Also designed for your skin because that bacteria can clog your pores and cause breakouts. And so you can sleep clean with Miracle. You got to try them. Go to trymiracle.com/Titus to try Miracle Made sheets today. Whether you're buying them for yourself or a gift, let them know because they'll ask you at the end where you heard about them and tell them that you heard about it from the Titus podcast. If you order today, you can save over 40%.
What?
And if you use our promo code Titus at checkout, you'll get 3 free towels and save an extra 20% if you use the promo code. So Miracle's so confident it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you aren't 100% satisfied, you're going to get a full refund. Just send them back. Upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/Titus. Use promo code Titus. Claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40%. Again, that's trymiracle.com/Titus. Go treat yourself.
No, we love this. Is a great product. and
It's
we
hard
love
to
it.
say 3 free.
But also, that's a long ad.
It's hard to say
give
free
you a lot of
3.
stuff. They give you a lot of
free
stuff to
3,
say.
3 free. Free 3. Usually I crank
Free-
through it,
free
but
throw?
every
You
time
know,
I
we-
came
we
to
are
that, I was
so-
like,
we
free
are so
3.
good.
No, 3 free.
Like,
3
if-
free?
Like if you have a product that we like, because we don't advertise products we don't like,
Right.
and if we don't use them, we just don't. I that's one of the things I stand for. I'm like not gonna, I realize something. You cannot sell out if you sell out who you are to get what you want. You'll never get what you want.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
Speaking
So
of
let me
not selling
finish.
out Taylor Swift, talk about that.
I just want to make sure that we like that. That's a you're great at this.
Thank you.
You're great at this.
Mhm.
Taylor Swift dropped it. She it's so funny because she didn't just say I endorse Kamala Harris. She went out and basically ripped on the president's ex-former president Trump so hard. She called herself a crazy cat lady holding a giant cat, a childless cat lady. That's it. And the statement was
that was already written.
Yeah, she was right. But they
her
dropped
team.
it.
Yeah,
But
it's
I
good,
think
though.
they went to the Biden school. They're like, let's wait till it's up downwell.
They said she totally kicked him when he was on the ground. But the opening is, as many of you, I also watched the debate tonight, and after seeing that performance, and I'm like, you wrote that before.
Yeah, 3 paragraphs.
You knew what was going to
You
happen.
just jotted off 3 perfect paragraphs.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
then Kamala walked off stage from the after party she dropped, the viewing party she dropped in on, to The Man by Taylor Swift. So it was they were ready for all of this.
Now, speaking of this, I want to talk about this too. So we watched her closing statement, which was great. It was all about what she was going to do for America, what she's up for, what she's committed to, and it was great. Donald Trump just started, she's crazy. Like his closing statement, I'm like, wasn't a closing statement. I'm go, how did no one say? Because he's kept talking about her, which makes her very important.
Yes.
Yeah.
What you do is you say, here's what I'm going to do for America. I know what I did the last time. Maybe you go, there was some things, maybe we got hit with the pandemic, but we fixed it. Whatever you say, you don't fucking talk about the opponent in your closing.
He gave her another minute of coverage.
Right, he did. So then we got to the thing where she's talking to her supporters, and I turned to Ray. I watched her for like 5 minutes, and she was off the cuff. There was no prompter. She was off the cuff, and she was eloquent, and she was putting thoughts together, and she made her points. And I go, she's not looking at a prompter. She's riffing this. This is someone I want that gets in front of people cold and talks to, because it was smart.
Yeah.
And do you remember when she did that thing where she was doing it and some guy heckled her and she just turned and she was just like, whatever you want to do, I'm speaking right now. You can go vote for somebody else, but I'm speaking. And I thought that's strength.
Yeah.
That we need somebody that can actually hold their own. And about the woman thing, and I'll stop talking. Ray said it. Germany elected a woman decades ago.
How are we behind
How
Germany?
the fuck are we behind Germany?
And people are still like, I don't think a woman
Now,
can
I
handle
don't.
it.
By the way, I also don't think she should be elected because she's a woman. But I don't think she should not be voted for because she's a woman. She's a fucking competent human being who I, after being VP, after being AG of California, which is the 5th largest economy in the world.
She's actually more qualified than Obama was.
That's what I said. I wrote that I said she's got more. She's done more than Obama did before he was president.
Yeah.
But she's a woman.
And I just want to say about the pets, I just want to tell you guys where that came from. When he said the city of Springfield, that there's
which is the Simpsons,
migrants
by the
there
way,
that are eating dogs. Pets. The fact check was done. The local police have said they have had no reports and there's no evidence for this claim. The claim appears to originate from a Facebook post in which someone pretending to be a local resident, or at least saying they are, passed along a story that they said was a story about their neighbor's daughter's friend.
My cousin's buddy's balls swelled up because of COVID.
Grundle.
Yeah.
That's
that's
Cardi
what
B.
he saw on TV, which would have had to have been Newsmax would have picked.
By the way,
something
how many times you moved? My
so
neighbors?
it was a person on Facebook. He didn't know.
Oh wait, so it's TV. Person
on TV.
Okay.
On TV. Then
TV person. Their neighbor,
woman,
daughter's friend.
Where are we?
5
or 6?
5,
Wow.
including TV.
Okay.
By the way, one more Kevin Bacon shows up. One more Kevin Bacon shows up. That's crazy.
Also, he still doesn't know how tariffs work, and nobody will just say that.
Oh my God.
Excuse me. Can I say this?
Let me just say it very clearly.
He doesn't know
A
what they
U.S. tariff
Mhm.
is paid for by the businesses, right?
Right.
That then hand that cost down to you. and
Costco.
you.
All right, I'm going to make it simple. You go to Costco to buy a Samsung television made in another country, right? South Korea, right? You go buy it.
You do this every week.
It's $100. Well, when you go buy it, it's $120. Now, why is it 20? Because there's a 20% tariff on that television that Trump wants to put on. That money does not come from South Korea. It comes from you paying for a fucking television. So Trump is adding a 20% tax to everything you buy. Get it? That's as clear as I can put a tariff. That this motherfucker who keeps talking about Wharton Business School doesn't understand what a tariff is. He's raising your taxes. You know why? So he can cut the taxes of his billionaire buddies.
Which he said he would do.
And he keeps saying it. But here's the thing. I think he knows he's just trying to convince people because we're going to get in with those other countries. He's not getting in with those countries. He's taking your money, as always.
Yes.
I'm Christopher Titus. And this is the Economic Minute.
I approve this message.
Yep. So we are going to be, Titus is going to be in Salt Lake City at
4 shows.
Jordan Landing. Wise Guys, 4 shows, 2 Friday, 2 Saturday.
You're doing Jordan Landing?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's a lot for
Not downtown. That's what I was telling you.
Uh-oh.
I love that club. But the hotel is right next to it, but I love that club. And then next week, St. Louis City Winery on Saturday, and then Indy Helium on Sunday. We have Montana is coming up, Bozeman and Billings. There's a lot of dates coming up. So
New
go
show
check 'em
is
out.
getting good, guys. Carrie Monsters is in the can. Where it's.
I got my girls' tee.
Yeah, I ordered for that.
Quit being weird.
Guys, these new shirts, quit being weird. It says it without saying it.
I need to wear this
When
today.
people go, what do you mean? We're not weird. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm just saying to everybody, quit being weird. Yeah.
Don't be worried about my shirt.
Yeah, if you don't know any gay or trans people and you're obsessing about it, quit being weird. If you're like freaking out about like that there's pedophiles in basements where there's no basements, quit being weird. Just quit being weird. Just fucking quit being weird.
All of you.
If you think you need to be called by a different, my pronoun is he, she, her, him, them. Just quit fucking being weird. Just be you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to. It's 100% across the board. And now it's time for this day in history.
Oh,
with
This Day in
Ken
History.
Highland. Highlanders fun facts. Highlanders fun facts. It's Highlanders fun facts.
On this day, September 13th, 2019, the Trump administration rolls back Obama-era water protections. The Trump administration announced that it would roll back clean water regulation that limited the use of polluting chemicals near streams and wetlands.
Water.
Yeah.
So let my billionaire buddies who are in chemical plants that are actually discharging chemicals and shit into our lakes and rivers. You know what? Go ahead, guys. Now, why? It's just what's going to happen if you drink poison water? Nothing. We're
Every
good.
day it was about that. Remember where you could then track it back to money? Like we said last week, the Sharpie was him giving the money to the guy.
The head of the Environmental Protection Agency was a guy who owned coal mines. Guys, that sounds like a Simpsons joke, doesn't it?
Speaking of money,
yep.
One more in the Trump era. The federal deficit on this day exceeded $1 trillion for the first time in 7 years.
Not the debt, the deficit.
The deficit. Okay.
Wow.
I didn't know that she really landed that as well either. Nikki Haley did. He put $6 trillion into debt. Sorry, 8. Well, it's always been 6.
Well, they keep revising it because what the shit he did hurt us so bad it ended up being 8 trillion. Every news report says it's 7, high 7s, 8 trillion. There's some different variations of numbers, but I will tell you this.
That was Dennis.
The guy
say it like Dennis.
By the way, I believe it was 8 trillion. But here's there was it's a range. It's a range. High 7s into low 8 trillion. Dollars. The most debt ever added by a president in one term. So the guy said, the businessman, except there was no business. He's basically a loser.
And now, 2 years into the Biden-Harris administration, this also displays how fantastic the Republicans are at really serving the public.
Yes.
House Speaker Kevin McCarthy makes several unproven claims while announcing the opening of a formal impeachment inquiry into President Joe Biden.
Oh, God.
Joe Biden responds with,
Bite me?
It's no joke.
It's no joke.
It's no joke.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. No joke. And someone else pointed it. So we were in Chicago last week. I want to thank the Schaumburg Improv. We had a great shows and working on new materials. It's always a little bit
I heard you were brilliant.
Scary for me. It's getting good. You know
Your
what?
new material. Let me just say this because
No.
can't. His new material. I have now watched him the last couple walk out the first time because he knows what works now, and you know how to perform it. You think of jokes and they work. When you're starting out in comedy, that is not the case. You think of jokes and you're very surprised that nobody laughs. And so I had a friend that I've known since when I used to run comedy clubs. He and I worked together for a while at one of the clubs, and he lives in Milwaukee. And he went to the show and texted me, when you were done, that was fucking brilliant. Holy shit. And he goes, this is new. I said, yeah, I haven't seen some of it even that you were doing.
I was riffing the whole last bit to be like, but
you know, he has a tendency when you give him a compliment to then add to the compliment.
You know what though? Okay. All right. So yes, when you start comedy, here's how it goes. When you start, but when you're starting comedy, it's basically like you're driving a car with the steering wheel not attached to the front wheels. Like, it's just like, you're just fucking praying to God you come up with something funny. Then I've been doing it, since 83. So now I can go, I'm much closer. Like the wheels connected to the steering wheel's connected to the front wheels now. I know, okay, that can go now, and I'm still wrong. There was a couple bits in the show that like I did it and I used my old bailout of like, okay, that's not going in the new show.
Mhm.
You're still wrong sometimes, but I should. Don't you think after 40 years
You're
I should
not
be able
wrong.
to know?
Like,
I should be able. I haven't hit it right.
Yes.
I don't know the
Yes.
right way in.
Yes.
So I've been writing this week. You're going to see a bunch of new material in Utah because I'm finishing. The show's almost close to not having to run any of the old material. And I think this one's going to be a good one. I think it's going to be a good one. Yeah.
You also started when you were like 12,
I-
like literally
Yeah.
12.
Yeah.
I was a teenager when I started doing comedy.
We need to
And
put those
then I'll
videos
be
up.
in St. Louis and Indy, so come to those shows too.
Oh my God, this kid, you've become like it's weird. I was about here's how good she is. Yeah, I'm in the green room hearing the audience and I'm tense in the back. I'm like, how am I going to go up after this?
That's just because you were doing new material, though. You were like, it's
no. You're getting really, you're really, okay, another thing. The guys I worked with are great. The guys that when you're not with me on the road, that open for me are fine. They're great. They do a good job. But it always reminds me
They also get
of how well I've taught you how to do comedy. No, how good you are. I remember when the reason that Ray got into comedy is because she started giving me jokes on my act,
Actually, you did teach me to do comedy.
And they were
That's
better.
not untrue.
and they were, but yeah, but
And
you were,
then I do things my way now, but you taught me how to figure that out for
but
sure.
you also were giving me funny jokes when we met before you were doing comedy, and that's why I was like, you should do stand up because
Well, I worked
I'm tired
in
of feeling
comedy.
dumb about writing better jokes than me and not doing comedy. Now I can go, yeah, this comic gave me some jokes. Before I had to go, my girlfriend gave me funnier jokes than I write. I just did it to save my own ego. Guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We will be in Utah this week. Come to Jordan Landing. Do me a favor, get tickets for the rest of the tour. This tour is going to be great. If you saw Carrying Monsters, you ain't going to be seeing Carrying
Nope.
Monsters again.
I love that one.
Thank you, guys, for everything. Go get your Quit Being Weird shirts. We tried to design
There's
them.
also Scream Sanity, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, but we tried to get it so it's dealing with what's happening right now without dealing with what's happening. So, we don't have to deal with people on the road. Thank you for watching. Thanks for listening. Go to ChristopherTitus.com. Go to Christopher Titus TV for all my specials and all the content we have. And thank you guys. For myself, the lovely Bombshell Ray and the Highlander. Later.
Peace out.
There could be one.
Also, the Willing Bureau.
Yeah, go to thewillingbureau.com.
Yeah, man. That was Jeff Lynne was great in that, man.
No.
What?
I'm going to cut that. Okay. I'm going to.
Well, you can't cut it.
I was
'cause
going to put
now
a voiceover
This
on
is the shot. What do you think, Bill
Here's
Bear?
what Christopher-